Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your SmackDown review. It's really hard to do these reviews, now, because that really wiped me out on Monday hearing about Roman Reigns and just sitting through these shows, and they're so inconsequential. And then I look towards the end of the show and I look at like Shane McMahon coming out for the sole purpose of talking about Crown Jewel because Paige isn't allowed to talk about it or associate herself with it. It's pretty obvious. Um, you know, it's just like how after like a big announcement like that and like all the negative connotations around that, like the possibility that Roman might not make it back. And we're talking about charity on the same night Susan G. Coleman. It's supposed to be, nice, positive. We're all pulling for Roman. We're all pulling for the Susan G. Coleman might have a lot of gray areas, but we're pulling for all those women and everything like that. So that's the vibe, right? It's charitable. It's nice. We're a global company. We care about people. And then they're just going to go to a country where they're not even going to allow the women to compete. And you see the juxtaposition right there of just how fucking hypocritical and just how dirty, underhanded, and greedy the WWE seems. So I don't know how Vince McMahon really sleeps at night. The way how this guy has treated certain talents, the way he's gone about his business. I mean, a lot of ways he's a genius in a lot of ways, but we see right now that this is not the work of a genius, that this is the work of a senile old man that's completely out of touch with reality. I mean, he talks about entertainment last week on SmackDown 1000. And what's his idea of entertainment? Just dancing around the ring like a goofball. It's like, man, what are we watching? What the hell is even going on in this company? It's like, they do a classy move like on Monday night, and I thought, just maybe, and I mean, that little, you know, uh, hope, that benefit of the doubt, it was like 1%, but I was like, maybe they're gonna get like a reality check from the whole Roman situation, and maybe they're gonna realize that there's more to life than just making money. That I was talking with you guys in the comments, and a lot of interest things were traded around. I talked a lot about God bless Roman, and he'll see him through this and everything. And I do believe that. And people were saying, certain person said that there is no God, and there's everyone had a different idea, but most people were pretty positive. Most people liked what I had to say about the situation. But just to reiterate on that, because this is such an inconsequential show, so we might as well talk about something more important like life in general. So, like when you're on your deathbed, I'm not saying, now or anything like that. I'm saying when you're like an old man, whatever the thing is, and you may contract some type of illness, they always say that even the most staunch and firm and, feet planted, cemented in the ground to atheism. They always say that with their last dying breath, they always will call out to God, and they will always start to believe then. Because you want to believe when you're that close to the end that there is something waiting for you on the other side. And I'm just saying, we're not going to turn this into a whole spiritual, religious type of video. Of course not. That's not what this is, a SmackDown review. But I'm just saying, it's important to keep the faith, is just to have some hope. But of course, there's going to be a large portion that are going to be watching this video or thinking what I'm saying is complete bullshit, and they're going to totally disagree. But whatever the case may be, if you want to believe that Roman is going to get through it just, naturally on his own, or you want to believe that there'll be like a divine entity seeing him along on it, you know, uh, that's what I think. To me, I don't know Roman personally. Never got a beer with him. Never met him. Don't know anything about him. Most of you don't either. But I'm saying he seems like a pretty swell guy. Basically, what I've heard from different interviews with people and stuff, he seems like the guy doesn't come across as a kiss ass. He just seems like a hard worker, especially because I guess everyone's giving him such a hard time. He really needs to have a firm backbone. And you see that like it doesn't even shake him anymore. Even when he went out there to the chorus of boos, he still grabbed the mic and said what he had to say. So, whatever the case may be. But, just to like go into this show and knowing that they're still going to go ahead with something that is, just horrible, that they're just not going to allow women to compete. And then several days later, they're going, what is it, like a week later, I mean to say, they're going to have WWE Evolution where it's going to be 100% women. You know what I'm saying? And on Raw, you got Nia Jax saying there's nothing women can't do, and they're not allowed to compete at that pay-per-view. So there's something that women are not allowed to do, especially when it comes to the WWE. So without further ado, let's get to the review. So we started off with New Day cutting a promo, and it bears reiteration. I have to say it. How are these guys still together after 4 years? Without exaggeration, there after 4 years, this team is still together. Why haven't they taken the necessary steps to try to individualize these guys? Big E seems like he could be a big star. They tried to make him a big single star. They pulled back the reins when they saw that wasn't working. But now it seems like that would probably work. And it's funny. I don't really even see a lot of the smarks asking for it. They asked for the Dean Ambrose heel turn, for the Roman Reigns heel turn, for the Becky Lynch heel turn. But no one asked for the Big E heel turn, which I think would benefit him greatly. I mean, of course, it all depends on what these writers have in store for him. But I've never seen something so dragged out and so like just carrying on and on with the same type of promos. Just going around in circles, winning the tag titles, cutting these promos, always with something ridiculous, whether it's unicorn horns or pancakes or pushing an ice cream cart down to the ring. It's always like some type of new thing with these guys, and it's just tiresome. It's annoying. They're obnoxious. When it first came about, it was new. It was refreshing. It was something different. But now that they've bludgeoned us over the head with it repeatedly. They've beaten this horse to death. The New Day horse has been beaten to death. I mean, there's nothing more that they can do with these guys. So, they cut the promo. They talk about how Big Show has flopped back and forth so many times. And, so they call out the Bar and Big Show, whoever, it's funny, like Kofi. I've never seen this before, where a wrestler that, the size of Kofi is actually not worried that he has to face the Big Show or have to face a guy that's Sheamus. All these guys way bigger than him. And, I find that to be a real problem. I'm not saying to make Kofi a chicken shit or anything, but usually these wrestlers would not go out of their way to call out, a bigger wrestler. They're just asking for. But anyway, Big Show is the one who ends up accepting the challenge. It ends in a no contest. And the thing is, what I need to know is, like, why did the Big Show even return? Are we even going to explain this? Why did Big Show return? To help out Sheamus and Big Show. He came back, just to help him win the tag titles, just because he's a swell guy, maybe? Like, what is the reason? Why would someone just return for the sole purpose of helping another team? What is he getting out of this? You know what I'm saying? It's like the context of the story kind of matters here because we're all looking at, or at least I am, like, what is Show doing back? What is the purpose here? You know, like, why would he not go into business for himself? Why would he help out Sheamus and Cesaro? It doesn't really make any sense in the context of what's going on here. You know, it's a tag team. They have each other to help out. So, you know, he's not interested in getting a title. He just wants, he's happy with them having it. You know, it's so important to tell a story because otherwise we're just sitting there looking at this like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why has it been written this way? Why was it booked this way? No answers. I guess we're just supposed to sit there and just enjoy the show. As much enjoyment as you could possibly get from this heap of garbage. Um, the Usos defeated AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, and it's like they accidentally like popped in the tape of last week's show. Why are we seeing the same exact match from last week with almost the identical finish? Just so they could have AJ get pinned this time? So last week it was Bryan. That was AJ. So they're telling the story like, oh, it's a miscommunication. You know, one guy accidentally hit the other guy. So, you know, it's like they had to like manufacture that other part of the story. They had to do that little, you know, accidental spot. And they had to do it twice just so they could get to that point in the story. Like once would not be enough. They gotta like even it out because it has to be even Stevens because they don't want to make like one guy's a heel and one guy's a face because you know that would generate too much interest. You know that alone, of course, wouldn't be that interesting, but they gotta really make sure that nothing about this match is interested headed into the pay per view. It's gotta be as bland as possible. You know they gotta have their baby face versus baby face match, and that's their tension right there. That one guy accidentally bumped into the other guy. You know, you think about like all these big betrayals and you know things that they could do maybe where you know maybe they could have had like AJ flirting with Brie or something along those lines, and it would piss Bryan off and you know, but they're not even gonna go that far. I don't even think that idea I just had would even be that great. But I'm just saying that would just make even more sense than just two guys happening to bump into each other during a match just to kind of tell a story why they're angry at each other. Uh, so you know, what are the Usos in this match? Are they just like tools to like you know tell the story of AJ and Bryan? Like they beat you know these two main eventers now, 2 weeks in a row, and you know I didn't even hear the announcers even really like giving them the accolades for that. You know, from last week, you know they beat these two guys that are going to be wrestling for the world championship. I mean, so like I don't know. So maybe they should be in the championship match if they're going to be beating these guys. I mean, it would just make logical sense. They're just going to go on to the match and they're going to forget about the match with the Usos like it never happened, just so they could tell the story of you know two guys love tapping each other. Then backstage, you know, I didn't even get this. Like, Bryan's acting and AJ's acting here. I don't know what it is. Ever since AJ has been involved in this storyline with Samoa Joe, and Daniel Bryan, like this was just fucking goofy. They were just, you know, saying, "Oh, it was an accident, right?" He's like, "Oh, what? You don't believe me?" And then you know, Bryan starts doing the too sweet thing, like mocking him, like what was that even supposed to mean? Like, honestly, like what was that supposed to be an argument? Is that how two men talk to each other? I'd never seen two men like that in my day to day life talk to one another like that, unless they were like demented, unless they had fucking mental problems. Like, I mean, where have you ever seen two individuals have a conversation in that manner? I mean, that was just totally unbelievable. Just totally like animated and just like nonsensical. Like really, like why is he even do like? I know he's trying to like kind of make fun of him. Oh, we're like brothers, but like the randomness of it all, just how they presented it. I mean, like they don't give a fuck. I mean, they don't care how they present their stars or whatever. It's like, yeah, they're trying to have a story, and I know there's gonna be like people watching this. Oh, Brad's, people that don't like me, they're gonna be like, oh, you always ask for stories. Well, you're getting stories, and this is not a story. This right here is being fucking lazy as shit. That they are like, something happened where they see the low ratings. They're like, oh, we need to have stories. So we're gonna have stories, but we're gonna implement them in the laziest fucking way possible. It's not a storyline. This is something where it's like some type of transition thing where they're not gonna put any effort into it at all. They're just kind of just shoehorning some story in there because they realized, oh shit, it's gonna kind of be boring just having one of these like respect matches. They've never worked before. They've always been the least over of any type of match. They always had to instigate some type of heat. Even when they did Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart in the Iron Man match, and it was like two baby faces, they did have to make Bret seem a bit more like the heel. Both of them kind of like played up the act. Whatever it is, I'm actually comparing that match to this match. AJ and Bryan, as you know, I think the world of them when it comes to like their talent and their ability, but you know, they gotta back them up with some story. Give them a better script. This is fucking embarrassing for them to see them like acting this out, and like I really really shudder to use that term acting because if this is considered acting, I don't know like what the idea of what they think is good acting because this is just so fucking terrible. Just look at this interaction. Go back and watch it on YouTube. Just look how these two interacted with one another. It's like I've never seen human beings talk this way before. Then we had Charlotte at the Performance Center, and I like this segment. Finally, we got out of the ring, got out of the arena, just to end up in another place that has a ring. But it's the Performance Center. It's different. It's a training camp. So we have Charlotte talking to a bunch of trainees, and I scanned my eyes across. And I guess these are the people that are currently training for NXT at the Performance Center. And I'm looking at the girls. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! If this is the future of wrestling, that little crowd right there of girls, I look at that crowd of girls, and I don't see a single fucking person that stood out at all. Like all of them, just plain Janes, just everyday, average looking kind of girls. None of them like really muscular. Nobody that even looked like Charlotte or a Becky Lynch or anything along those lines. Like no one of like substantial beauty, and no one of like just any type of like look where they looked like, you know, no Luna Vachon, no Trish Stratuses or Litas in there. They're just a bunch of like really just like plain looking, people that you would just see on the street every day of your life, average Joe. Just like wow, like maybe like just going into a Starbucks and seeing the girls that are on the line there, just very average and just plain and just like no one that's capturing your attention. I'm just saying, it's just super fucking weird. I mean, these aren't like people getting selected to be in NXT. These are just girls kind of trying out. I get that, but it's just like you really see that like the ones that have the aspiration for some weird reason are just not the people that are signing up. And maybe that's it. Maybe they see it. Maybe the people that have the look and have what it takes potentially are just not signing up. Or maybe we're not seeing those people and they're just not getting picked. I don't know what it is, but there's gotta be more people that look like stars that you get a vibe from. No vibe from anybody here. But anyway, let's get back to SmackDown anyway. So Charlotte is, trying to talk to these girls and saying what just kind of motivating them. Then Becky comes in. She's got the belt over her shoulder. And I have to ask, like, with Becky Lynch, she's got this belt over her shoulder, like, 24/7, wherever she goes. I've never seen a wrestler, like, walk around backstage with the belt. It's almost like she drives her car with the belt. She walks into the fucking restaurant and orders her food with the belt over her shoulder. I feel like she just goes out for a fucking walk, or she rides her bike, or she's at the gym. She's doing squats with maybe instead of wearing a weightlifting belt, she wears the fucking championship. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that she wears the belt everywhere. It looks a little bit ridiculous, really. Like, she's here to pick a fight with Charlotte, but she's got to make sure she wears the belt. I don't know how to feel about that. I just think it's a little silly. It adds to her character, so I guess it's a little charming, but I don't know if it's intentional or not. Or it's just that the writers tell her to do that because they're just so fucking clueless and they don't think about, like, how easily it is to make fun of something like that. But whatever the case may be, it's entertaining to me. So the fact that she just walks around with the fucking belt, I kind of like that. So she approaches Charlotte, and they start fighting in the performance there. And I thought that was pretty cool. I like the way they shot it, like it was not professional. The cameras were shaky and everything, so it looked like this happened and it wasn't planned. And they need to do way more of that shit. Please. Please do more of this. This was good. They got out of the arena. It wasn't held in front of the SmackDown sign, that one magical spot where Charlie and Dasha Fuentes always interview these people. It actually happened in a spot where you don't normally see things occurring, and they really need to do more of this. This is how it used to be back in the day. Like I said, the parking lot brawls, them getting out of the arena, them going to the different locales. This is what they used to do back in the day. They shot a segment at Happy Time USA out in Howard Beach, for fuck's sakes. They also went to they went to the morgue even in one episode with Stone Cold, Kane and the Undertaker. They used to go all around the place because these are people that, they don't just live in the ring. They don't just live in an arena. There's a place outside the arena, and they used to go to it. Now, you don't even see that anymore. So here, at least they did something. The only thing that I didn't like is after this segment was over, Charlotte, they do this like really rehearsed segment where her face is just like pinned towards the camera. Her eyes are just straight at the camera, and she's just like talking like a zombie. And she says, "Oh, Becky, that was sacred ground, and you disrespected sacred ground." It's just a performance center, like it just something like oh, that's where we started. Just that was not necessary. That wasn't needed. They could have just went about their way right after that segment. I mean, okay, I'm all for prolonging Charlotte on the screen, but I also got to think about something else too. Why, out of everybody, that Charlotte should be the badass, not Becky Lynch? She's a fucking Flair. Look at Charlotte. Look how muscular she is. Look how fit she is. Look how tall she is. The girl is well over 6 foot. And they're going to give Becky Lynch, this smaller girl, this less impressive looking girl, they're going to give her the badass character? I mean, I'm not saying that they both can't be badasses, but I'm saying when I look at Charlotte, I see more of a badass. Not like this, oh, we need to respect the sacred ground. Like, she's a Flair. Ric Flair spent most of his career as a heel. I really think that Charlotte was doing way better on her own. Remember when she broke away from Ric Flair and she was like this nasty heel and she was getting a lot of genuine heel heat? That's what we need to see way more of. Not this squeaky clean baby face. Oh, you disrespected sacred ground, Becky. But all credit where credit's due. That was a good segment, and we need to see way more of that going forward. That I was kind of surprised to see that. We didn't see any of that on SmackDown 1000, which is, celebrating like moments like Booker T and Stone Cold at the grocery store. So we don't fucking see that on SmackDown 1000, but on 1001, that was it. And it was funny how we kind of just quickly forgot about what happened on SmackDown 1000 because of just how fucking terrible the show was. Maybe that's for the best. Don't even bother going back and thinking about that horrible mess. Then up next, it was Rusev defeating Aiden English. And this had to be the end of the feud. Rusev completely destroyed Aiden. That was the end of the story. I thought that maybe they were going to, like, introduce somebody new here, that Aiden might have, like, a run-in from a bigger star, or maybe someone was going to be his bodyguard. Nope. It just ends with the accolade. Aiden taps out. That's it. Moving on. I don't know where you go from here with Rusev. I really don't. I mean, I don't know, what you do. You've buried this guy so far. You had him get in this ridiculous storyline. It's one ridiculous storyline after another. He's with Lana. He's not with Lana. They make this storyline that he's going to regain his edge. Then he doesn't regain his edge. Then they put him in a tag team. I don't know. But to me, it's almost like you just need to stop. Like, this is the time where you really got to just look at it and be like, maybe Rusev is just not for you guys. Now, I understand Rusev is going to want to keep his job with WWE as long as he can because this is the only game in town that's worth a shit. But, I mean, you got to look at it like, my God, like, where else do they go after this? Like, really? Now, I know they're going to find something for him, obviously, some random feud or whatever the case may be. But, I mean, you're just looking at it like Rusev is they've tried every single possible combination, and it's all ended in fucking tragedy for him. So, you look at it, and you're just like, this was a chance for them to do some big storyline. They could have had a big controversial storyline going on here. It could have had like an edgy feel to it, and they ended it really dumb. With Lana hacking Aiden, and then they just end it with a basic match. Well done, I guess. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, this was just beyond fucking horrendous. I mean, this was really fucking bad. I don't know, like, really what to say here, other than they're just so fucking clueless. I mean, you have a guy that looks like Rusev, and this is why I've never been crazy about him, just because I've never been able to get behind this guy. Does Rusev look like he could be something? Yes, but like they've never really given me a chance to really like this guy ever. I mean, there's been more guys that I have liked naturally that haven't got a chance, like Elias, for example. But I don't know. I guess that's WWE's fault that they never made me like a guy like Rusev. Like, I know he's a star. I know he deserves quite a bit. But I've never been a big Rusev fan because they've never really put him in a position. And even when he was kicking ass and, he had the big undefeated streak, I thought the character was very bland. It was going nowhere, and it was just going on for way too long. So, like I'm saying, even during the best of times for Rusev, I just never was a fan. They've never done anything to make him consistently interesting. That's the problem. At least with Elias, he's got the song, the promos, and everything. Rusev has never been a good promo. There just hasn't been any good feuds with Rusev to me, so that's why I've never been a fan. So I just look back on his career, and it's been like 4 years of just complete boredom and just going nowhere. I mean, Aiden English singing for him was probably the most entertaining thing ever attached to him. His hot wife, that's something else too. I mean, but aside from that, I mean, for Rusev, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see a lot more people get a chance. It's just, it's not Rusev's fault. It really isn't. It's these writers' fault, but I don't know. I don't know where you go with this guy. I'm at a loss here. then you had Rey Mysterio on Miz TV, and you know, Rey didn't even have to say that much, but like his delivery here was better than AJ Styles. It was better than Daniel Bryan. I'm not saying he's a better promo, because I've seen AJ cut some great promos while he's been in WWE, but as a heel. And, really compare him to a guy like Finn Balor, and this guy is like Hulk Hogan in comparison. So, I don't know. I was really happy just to see Rey back. They've been lacking star power for so long. So to see somebody the caliber of Rey Mysterio here, and he's going to be here for a long time, that made me really happy. So, The Miz was cutting a promo on him. He's not going to win the World Cup. It's not the 90s anymore, which was a little bit odd because Rey Mysterio wasn't in the WWE till the 2000s. So I don't know what that was supposed to be, if that was a bit of an inaccuracy on the Miz's part. But, whatever. They seem like they had an okay little rapport together. Rey challenges Miz to a match. It's a pretty good match here. Two guys that really know what they're doing. And you see when Rey Mysterio does the high risk, it's safe. You know that Rey Mysterio is in control during the match. He's not doing just a whole bunch of wild things. It really is. You see a lot of the spot monkeys on the roster. They really should take note that this is how it's done. If you're going to be a high flyer, at least be smart, be safe about it. Like, first of all, like that Rey Mysterio splash, that sliding splash he does. Super safe, super awesome looking, and, Rey's just a master at what he does. I mean, if these guys weren't such knuckleheads and maybe they listened to advice, they could probably learn a thing or two from Rey Mysterio, but they won't because they're too fucking stubborn. Then we had a really big mess of a segment. It was, first you had Naomi coming out, Feel the Glow. Okay, the Iconics didn't, the Iconics come out, but you had Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville coming out to the ring. They're not doing anything with these girls. Naomi won a battle royal at WrestleMania. We're not doing anything with her. She's still glowing. I don't know. She's got radiation poisoning. I'm not really too sure. It's Fallout. Don't know. But the Iconics come out, and it's like these two girls are hot, but they're so goddamn annoying, and it's the same type of Leo Rush type of thing. Leo Rush is a male version of the Iconics, and they're a female version of Leo Rush. I mean, it's like the same thing. Annoying voice, annoying promos, annoying, just super fucking loud tone that just fucking cuts right through your fucking eardrums. I mean, wow. Wow. I mean, this was an annoying fucking promo. And then they do this iconic type of thing. And it's like, I understand that they're maybe trying to make them cute and funny, but I've never been one for the cutesy bullshit. So maybe that's just me, because I see a lot of people like on YouTube that say, "Oh, they're so adorable, so cute when they do that shtick," and it's like, no, I think they're two good-looking girls, really, but just these goddamn fucking promos that they got. I've never seen the two girls that are just so fucking horrendous on the mic, and they just suck so bad, and they're given so much mic time. Why? And I don't know what it is. It's just like they overact so much, and I guess maybe that's why WWE likes them. Maybe because they're animated, they get out there, they make jokes and stuff. Even though it's the lamest jokes, they're doing it horribly overacted. It's way too over the top, and it's like what I say about Paul Heyman almost every single time he comes out there, with the exception of Monday Night. Always coming out there super animated, super over the top. It gets annoying real fucking fast. And it's the same deal with the Iconics. Way too over the top, way too grating. Just, they need to stop. Carmella comes out. It's time for a dance break. I mean, this is going to be her character now. So she was one of the most over heels getting heel heat. People torturing on Twitter. You can't wrestle and everything. And then they just put her with R-Truth to make her a valet. I mean, I'm all for trying to get R-Truth as popular as possible when he wasn't even featured. So they made sure that R-Truth got over on SmackDown 1000, involved him with Vince McMahon. 1001 comes, he's nowhere to be seen. Nowhere on this show at all. I'm just looking and I'm like, are you joking? I mean, why would you do that? You're building this guy up. This guy has a natural charisma. He's waited years to probably get another opportunity anywhere close to where he was in 2011. And you don't even feature him on the very next show. Okay, so anyway, Zelina Vega attacks Carmella as she's dancing, throws her into the ring, and everyone jumps in. Big time brawl. And it looks like Zelina Vega is going to be the one standing tall, but Asuka comes and she kicks her, and, Asuka's the one there standing. So let me get something straight. So, look at the journey of Asuka, and look what she's been through in WWE. So she has she had this huge winning streak in NXT, but that's NXT. That doesn't really fucking count. It doesn't matter. So she comes to WWE. They have a really hard time of establishing her dominance. She has like a 50-50 match with Emma. Emma looked too good in the match, so they fire her because, God forbid, someone also looks good, even though they were told to go out there and have a 50-50. So Asuka wasn't getting the reaction. No, big surprise that she's not getting the same reaction that she gets from 1,000 people from a crowd of 20,000. Oh, wow. I don't know how you could not fucking figure that out mathematically, that you're not going to get the same reaction guaranteed from a smaller crowd. I think a lot of guys that have come over from Ring of Honor have realized that when they've, gone to a bigger venue in TNA for a pay-per-view or gone to WWE, they see that it's not quite the same thing. 500 people is nothing in comparison to 15,000, even on that small scale. So they go ahead and they put her in for the Royal Rumble. They're like, they slide her in. She wins the Royal Rumble. It's a historic moment. She not only is it like the first women winning a Royal Rumble, it's the first women's Royal Rumble altogether. But she's Japanese. There's a lot of stuff behind this. And what the hell happens? She loses at WrestleMania. She continues to lose thereafter, in all these different matches. And now we come to the first ever Evolution pay-per-view. And what happens here? She's just going to be in a random ass battle royal with like 20 or 30 other girls where she's not going to stand out. What did Asuka do? I need to really honestly ask, because I wasn't even an Asuka fan, but after seeing this girl working really hard and them just shitting all over her, I have to say, I'm an Asuka fan now. I really am. And I hate that sometimes it takes that. But when I see somebody working so hard and really trying to connect with the crowd, doing all sorts of facial expressions, doing whatever the company asks her to do, acting like an anime character, whatever the case may be, she's done everything they've asked her to do. She's done everything. She's been a yes woman. I'm sure of it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Her English is limited as it is, so I don't know how disagreeable she really could be. But whatever the case may be. And just to throw her in the Battle Royal is such a slap in the face. It's like at the beginning of the year, you're telling this girl she's going to be at the top. She's going to be representing all the women at WrestleMania. She's going to, win this Royal Rumble, the first time it's ever been done. Then she goes on, and she's not gonna win this Battle Royal. I know that. I don't know who they're gonna give it to, but I don't think it's gonna be her. If it is her, good for her, but I don't think it will be. I'm just saying, it's like when you get thrown into the Battle Royal, all these girls, they're all just basically telling them you're not worth the shit. You're just gonna be another face in this Battle Royal. We just need somebody to fill up the slots, the participant slots in this Battle Royal. And that's all it is. That's all we're going to do with you. You guys can just, like, hang tight, sit there, and just, deal with it, basically. I mean, my God, why? Why are they doing this to her? I mean, what the fuck did she do to deserve this other than just kind of give it her best shot? Um, all of them, Naomi, Asuka, Carmella, who is just the champion right before the other girls, that are involved in the current feud. I mean, it's pretty disrespectful. I'm sure these girls would love to compete at this pay-per-view, being how historic it's being built up to be. But they're just basically telling them, you know what, you can be part of the pay-per-view, but in the Battle Royal, and you could get the honor of, like, being thrown out. It's just, I I look at battle royals and I enjoy them. It's fun to see who's going to be in there, who shows up. It's going to be cool to see Tori and all these other girls in the battle royal. But it's like, that they're like it's not gonna be that significant of a match. There's nothing even on the line here. They're not even building it up as a number one contenders battle royal or anything. Like, why not at least make it a number one contenders battle royal? Why not at least say that the winner gets a shot at their respective brand's champion? Like, I guess maybe that would make it too Royal Rumble-ish. But they've done that before. They've had SmackDown, the number one viewed YouTube video, I believe, on WWE's YouTube channel is when Batista had to give up the SmackDown Championship. And guess what happened? They had to get everybody involved in the Battle Royal, and I think Kurt Angle eventually ended up winning it. That's the highest rated. So Battle Royals they are a bit of a draw. People are interested in watching them. It's just, you got to have stakes. So when the world title was on the line in the Battle Royal, even though some people might have seen the result, it adds importance to the match. It makes it more exciting. So, take a look at your number one YouTube video, for example, guys. It's on your own fucking channel. You should know this. I'm sure you pay people to look at the analytics for your channel. I don't understand why we're not making this a number one contenders, unless that's been added and I just haven't seen an update on that. But I just know it's just a bunch of talented girls being wasted on bullshit. Like, also, Mandy Rose, Vince McMahon apparently loves her. He's in he's in Corey Graves' ear every single night to have the guy be so lustful over her. She's barely even featured on the fucking show. Sonya Deville, she would have been the only girl that would have had any type of believability in a feud with the likes of Ronda Rousey. The first moment they got when they go head to head on Raw, Ronda Rousey just takes her down like that. So they didn't see anything there, obviously. So, just throw them all in the Battle Royal. Just get them on the show. Everyone gets a payday. So, and I mean, that's good. Everyone gets a payday. Everybody gets an appearance. But if you blink, you're probably going to miss one of these girls. Probably several. Then Shane McMahon comes out. And this is what I talked about at the top of this particular video. Shane McMahon comes out basically with no purpose here. He's here just to do the final hard sell for Evolution in the World Cup, which these are like, these are like magnets, just like two positive ends of magnets or like two negative ends to the magnets. Just like they're not gonna go together because you're not gonna see any women on the show. So it's really just super funny, like how this all played out. and I don't want to repeat myself, but just let's take a look at this timeline. They come up with the idea. I guess they already had that pay-per-view in mind to do all women's pay-per-view. They already had another date to go back to Saudi Arabia. They did the Greatest Royal Rumble earlier in the year. Then they come along and they do this one right here, Crown Jewel. And like, how is it that I don't know if like the contract states it's got to be on certain dates or they just have to fulfill those that number of events whenever they can, but they make sure like they place these fucking pay-per-views like a week apart. And I'm just like kind of sitting there just saying to myself like, are you joking? Like, really? Like it just like here you're gonna have a pay-per-view. It's almost like they did Evolution to sort of like make up for the lack of women that's gonna be at Crown Jewel. So, and they're under fire from Crown Jewel. Shane McMahon once again, he's getting booed while talking about the World Cup because nobody wants them to go to Saudi Arabia. Almost every person with a fucking soul believes that they should not go there, that they should cancel this trip, that they shouldn't be these greedy dollar sign hoarding assholes and just sacrificing the integrity of their women's division and the integrity of all the wrestlers that are going to the event. You had a journalist get killed over there, and you're gonna, and the funny thing is, like I said about this company, I know I've been saying it a lot, but I just can't stand it. It's like they're here to do all this charity. They're here. We're great people. Now Roman has leukemia. We're going to, now be even more probably focused on charity, and we want to make sure that we're getting this message out there. We're good people. We're caring and everything like that. We're going to be there for society. We're a wrestling company, so I don't understand why we're doing this, but we're obsessed. We're just downright obsessed with being accepted publicly. We're a publicly traded company. We cannot stand having people looking down on us. Wrestling has been considered to be a trailer park, trash form of entertainment. We don't want to be looked at that anymore, even though we're going to have predominantly do wrestling on our show. Whatever the case may be, however you want to look at it, and so if they were so concerned about the outward perceptions, looking in on them as a company as a whole, and how it relates to their PR, they're going to do this. So it's so funny. It's like they won't do the type of content they used to do. They won't have DX say suck it. They won't do anything Attitude Era-ish or anything like that. That's why the product has, been so fucking horrible. But, it's like they won't do any of that because of PR, and they're scared of how they're going to be looked at if they continue doing this, even though that's been their most successful time. They're not going to do that because they're scared of how they're going to be looked at, and they won't be looked at as this big charitable organization anymore. Like, but they're willing to ignore all the negative press that they're receiving about Saudi Arabia. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, just how fucked up their mentality is. Like, is it? I know it's not just me. I see other people writing it, but does anybody really look at it on a deep level like I am? Like, because I've never heard anybody really put it quite this way as I'm doing. They are actually like so concerned about their image, and they worked all these years of trying to like make this image, be a star. Susan G. Komen, Connor's Cure, all Make a Wish years back. All these different attempts and all these different charities they've went through and all these different things. And Nia Jax is there for body positivity and all these things. We're gonna empower women. And then they're gonna go and make a deal with the Saudis that don't respect women. They stone women. They any woman that commits an act of infidelity, they could murder them them straight up. I mean, it's just, it's just, it's craziness. So they're going to go ahead and they're going to go there anyway. Despite the negative PR, like everything that they feared, negative PR, they're getting it right now. And they could turn it all around by saying, we're sorry, we're going to cancel it. It's not worth the money. We don't want the negative PR. We don't want to be looked at as bad people. We understand that they mistreat women in this society, and we don't want to be a part of it. And they killed the journalist there just 2 weeks ago. But they're going to go anyway because the money is that much more important to them. So now we see what it really is all about and truly what they really stand for. That is the value of the company and the dollar signs attached to it. They don't give a fuck about anybody. They don't care about cancer patients. They don't care about any of that type of stuff. They only care about them. And you know what? The curtain has been lifted. Oz has been exposed. Vince's Oz, he's been exposed. We all see him for what he is. He's not this, super friendly grandpa that's, just there for PR and spreading love and peace across the land. No, he's just there to build up his company financially so he can sell it and fail again at the XFL. Hey. I mean that's what it's all about at the end of the day, apparently. So, they don't give a shit. Like I said, they're willing to put their own public image on the line just to make a couple of fucking extra bucks. It's more than a couple of extra bucks. It's a lot of money, but still, it's just it's really sad. They're really gonna sacrifice like their PR just to fucking do this event. And like I said, I'm really disappointed in a lot of the wrestlers, the ones that already have a lot of money. Undertaker, Proud American, everyone like this. He's going to go there anyway and perform. Shawn Michaels is willing to come out of retirement to get a payday. And it's just like, you really see how people act when there's a lot of money on the line. They are willing to put their integrity, their self-respect, their values on the line just to make that money. And I like to think that if I was in that position, I wouldn't do that. But then again, I wouldn't know because the tenth of money, of monetary value, that is something that is very hard to overcome. And it is a sin. I mean, it is materialism. It is definitely something that's frowned upon. I mean, you see how we're all talking about it. When everyone says, it's greed, money, it's always talked about negatively. But these guys have families. But then again, you might say, but guys like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker have plenty of money, so they don't need to really do this. Like I said, I totally understand if, you're a wrestler that really hasn't made it that big, like a Seth Rollins, you want to, follow what your boss is telling you. Go along with it. Go there. Get your payday. Swallow your pride. Do your job. I get it. But all these other guys that have been in retirement and shit, and Kane, who's the fucking mayor of Tennessee, he's pretty much retired. He even said, "Fuck the mayor. I'm going over there and I'm doing this event." I mean, my God, the self-respect. A fucking politician. Even a politician, where all the politicians are pretty much, saying, whoa, we won't touch the Saudi Arabia thing with a 10-foot pole because that's a PR nightmare, but they're going to go out there. Kane's going to go out there, the mayor of Tennessee, and he is going to fucking compete at this event, which I'm sure is against his morals. I know in the back of their minds they have guilty consciences, but the dollar signs are just too big, and they're rolling around their eyes like fucking cash registers, and that's the reason why they want to go over there. But Shane McMahon is coming out to get back on point, and he reiterates basically what Kurt Angle said on Raw, talking about all these guys, and the crowd starts chanting CM Punk. Shane McMahon says, I don't believe he's in the tournament. So, that was a nice little quip he made there. So, I mean, and the funny thing is, Paige is not there because, like I said, I didn't even think about this until I read Wade Keller's review. And he's right. The knucklehead is right. He's only there because Paige cannot actually be there and associate herself because it would be ridiculous because she's not supposed to be there, or because no woman is even supposed to be able to be associated with it, I guess, because they're not even allowed to utter Crown Jewel. And once again, it's so funny because we're not even mentioning Saudi Arabia. If you're so ashamed that you won't even mention the name of the place you're going to, why even do it? How ridiculous is that? Like, look at their moral system. Like I said, I apologize. I know I said this in my Raw review, but I have to continue to rant on it. You guys, you think somewhere in your fucking screwed up, fucked up minds that if you don't say the name of the place that you're going to, that somehow makes it okay. Like some magical, like, integrity filter suddenly just comes across our screens and all is forgiven because you're not going to mention where you're going. I mean, like, they're giving it the Chris Benoit treatment is what they're doing. They're just like making like this part of history doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they say Randy Orton won the title at SummerSlam 2004 from, whoa, we can't say the name of the person. So it's like, it makes sense in the context of Chris Benoit in the way that they don't want to mention his name, they don't want to promote his brand and all that. So I could kind of see why they decided to do something along those lines. But when it comes to a place that they're going to be doing an event that hasn't even happened yet, that they're still going to do, and you're just not going to mention the name of the place, and that's like, okay. So what do they expect? Like everyone who's giving them a hard time in the media, anyone who's being a critic of them at the moment, they're going to be like, well, at least they didn't mention the name of the place. Like, well, there you go. I mean, that's the solution to every problem, right? If you come under fire or anything like that, if people are criticizing you, just, don't mention where you're going. Say you've got a problem. You go to the strip club every single night, and your wife is, I'm gonna divorce you if you go back there. Because you're married to me. I don't want you going, giving, dollar bills to strippers and shit. So it's like, honey, don't worry about it. I'm still gonna go there, but you're not gonna mind anymore. What do you mean you're gonna go there? I just told you I'm gonna divorce you if you go to the strip club more. No. You see, because that's the thing. It's okay now because I'm just not gonna mention where I'm going. So that just all of a sudden makes it 100% okay. See, guys, that's all you gotta do. It's that easy. All you gotta do is just not say where you're going, and you could go wherever you want. Right? I mean, really, just don't say where you're going. I'm saying I've got it all figured out. See, not only do you get quality wrestling reviews, but you get exceptional advice here. I mean, but don't thank me. Thank Vince McMahon. Thank his PR department, I guess, who came up with that incredible idea. Hey, we're going under fire going to Saudi Arabia. Just don't mention where we're going. Hey, what a marvelous idea. Then they ended with Randy Orton beating Jeff Hardy clean, and I don't get it. It was almost like there was no history at all with them at Hell in the Cell. That Jeff didn't plummet through the table. That Orton didn't pin him after the bell and all that stuff. And then Orton went back to putting his finger through Jeff Hardy's gauge in his ear. Okay, it's like now you're kind of overdoing it. You know what I mean? Just like you did the same spot. He should have done something more. He should have done something original to him this time. So clean win. No one's getting protected. You wouldn't see this back in the day, but whatever. I don't know, guys. I don't even care about this. I mean, it's just this company. I don't know what to think or what to say anymore about them. I mean, you look at this company as a whole, and you just see so many fuck ups. I mean, you would think it's almost impossible that you have this many people working for a particular company, and yet they make this many mistakes. How? I need to ask the question. Just how? How are they capable of making this many errors? This and not only that, this year they've made so many PR mistakes when they worked so hard to try to, get that PR, and they need to make this company sterile. That's why it's so fucking hideously boring. And what do? They go ahead and they shoot themselves in the fucking foot with the Saudi Arabia thing. And when it comes down to it, and when they really need to abandon ship, and they really need the best PR possible, because now a journalist died over there. He went, he went into the consulate. He didn't come out, and what happened? They decide, let's go there anyway. I mean, I don't know. I make smaller examples, like I've said, when they say, be a star, don't bully people, and then Vince McMahon proceeds to make fun of JR's Bell's palsy live on Raw. Even when his wife was running for the Senate, he still does this. And the crazy thing is also this. You've got Linda McMahon, who's in the Trump administration as well, which no one even thinks about this. I haven't really heard even anybody mention this at all. But besides Bin Hamin in Vince Russo's podcast, this is the only time I heard anybody ever mention it. Linda McMahon works for Donald Trump. And Trump is condemning the actions of the Saudis, and and telling them to be honest, and demanding to know what happened over there and all that jazz. And then you've got Vince McMahon, her husband, who's gonna take his company over there. And I know she doesn't have any connections, but if anybody gets wind of this, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? What?" I don't know, guys. Anyway, there you go. There's your SmackDown review. I hope you all enjoyed. I think you noticed, obviously, a big length increase in these past two reviews. And, Raw was definitely more eventful than SmackDown. But there was things on SmackDown that I just needed to discuss. And since this is going to be the final show before Crown Jewel 205 Live, yeah, fuck that. We ain't talking about 205 Live. Not talking about NXT. So this is the last show before Crown Jewel. So, main roster show. Okay? There you go. Main roster show before Crown Jewel. So, there was a lot of things that needed to be discussed here. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, I think you guys understand. I think you can kind of tell by the tone in my voice. Is that, especially like after the whole Roman thing and looking at the history of what they've done as far as charity goes, and then they're gonna go ahead and do the least charitable thing possible, the fucking ugliest thing that they could possibly do, and actually go to a country that killed one of her own. I don't know how you live with yourself. I don't know how you could possibly sleep at night, McMahon, but, that's what I'm saying. Fired me up. Got me angry. I think that there's probably a lot of other people. Judging by how the Smarks are reacting, even the Smarks, even those dummies know that it's wrong what they're doing. And like I said, this is not like a social justice thing. This is not trying to right the wrongs. It's just a matter of good taste. And it's going against the business practices. They have compromised their own product, making sure that it is sterile and it is set to go for public relations. You know, that's why they make it so fucking boring and, you know, just benign, because they feel that that's probably the best approach to play it safe. And they're playing it so safe to the point where it's ridiculous. They've sacrificed all that quality for over a decade, well over a decade. And they have now done something that just completely contradicts all of it. There's been a lot of contradictions over the years. I mentioned the pallbearer, you know, with the ashes being spilt out over the Undertaker. You know, I've talked about making fun of Jerry the King Lawler's heart attack. You know, so there's been a lot of times where they've compromised their squeaky clean image like at total random. And, you know, needless to say, now what they've done, I mean, it's completely contradicted almost everything. So anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if you were subscribed and you're not subscribed anymore, please resubscribe, because I don't know why the fuck that's happening. So to tell you guys something, the other night, for some reason, I actually go on to my dashboard on YouTube, and I see that I've got 6,001 subs. So I was like, damn, I actually hit. Now, to be realistic and to be transparent, you know, I'll be lucky if I see, like, you know, a few new subs, you know, within a month from the way how things have been going. Now, there's been some good months. I've built up more subs as time has went on. And, you know, sometimes I have a good month, I have a bad month. And then judging on how people are feeling about what I say that given week, they'll unsubscribe or they'll subscribe, whatever the case may be. So I hit, and I hit on the dashboard. I was ecstatic to see that I finally hit my year-end goal, and I surpassed it, 6,001. Then a few hours later, I go back on, and then I'm back to like where I was. I was like at like 5,961 or something. I was like, what the fuck? Now I know YouTube has been playing around with the dashboard. YouTube went down for a half an hour about a week ago. So I don't know what the fuck happened there, but you know, once again, you know, YouTube strikes again. So anyway, guys, but please make sure that you're still subscribed, because there's a lot of wacky business going on here on YouTube, especially headed into next year, which is only 2 months away. It's going to be a lot of probably craziness with the subscriber count. So, you know, also make sure you click the bell, because that's also another thing on here that I've learned. You got to click the bell. Sometimes that doesn't even work, but you're more likely to be able to see my new content when I post it up. Check out some of the other videos I have posted here. And guys, this has been your YWC champ, and I'm signing out.